Welcome to the Sales Entrepreneur Podcast. I am Daniel McComber, and with me today we have Rick Martinez. Whenever I see your Instagram page, I put no soliciting, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of the... Okay.
Yep. That's what it was.
Because there's nothing worse than hearing bruh, buddy, bud on the doors, right? And so that's kind of, I'm guessing, where it came from.
Yep.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit about the background behind you picking that name.
I started the page back in 2018.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more about this later, but I was selling with Aptiv in Long Island. It was like my first ever summer.
Yeah.
I did solar year round prior to that. Mm-hmm. And I found these other meme page like summer sales fails, the door knockers.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, what can I do? No soliciting signs.
Right.
Like, no soliciting. And then at the time, like, bruh was such a big thing. I was like,
it is.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Hindsight, I never expected it to be what it is right now. So I'm like,
no kidding.
Screw it. I'm just gonna send it. And dude, here we are. Right now, it's stuck.
Oh my gosh, it's stuck in a super positive way because bruh, bro, the sales terms and everything.
Yep.
So obviously, you got 30,000 followers on that page.
Yep.
You have had a really successful sales career, and then today I'm super pumped to talk about your kind of most recent entrepreneurial venture, branching off and doing something on your own. What I'm really happy to talk about today is kind of like the, I guess, struggles and everything that's brought you to this point. Because in our industry, you don't go from just deciding what, like, let's say going to school, and we'll talk about your past, but you don't go from being just like a normal Joe Schmo to deciding you're going to do this career for 10 years. I don't think anyone in the history of sales has ever said, like, I'm going to do this for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's usually the opposite, right? I'm going to do this for one summer. That was me. I was like, I'm a one summer kind of guy. So kind of tell me a little bit about like where you were and how you transition into sales.
So my first ever experience with like door-to-door sales was right after high school. I took an interview for this job, and it was selling Kirby vacuums.
Nice.
I was at
the Kirby's,
dude. I was sold on the dream, bro.
Yes.
Like, you can make this much money. And I was like, frick yeah, that's way more than I'm making at McDonald's right now.
Yeah.
So
you were working at McDonald's?
I was working at McDonald's.
Oh, heck yeah. That was your high school job.
Yep, that was my high school job.
That's the grind right there. Yeah.
Yep.
So did your parents make you have a high school job, or is that something you chose to do yourself?
So that's something that I chose to do out of necessity. So I'm one of 6 kids. I am the middle child, and my mom was a single mom.
Wow.
So
That's
money's
awesome.
tight for an immigrant family, single mom. It was tough. So in the Mexican family, like, everybody just helps out. It's just Latin culture.
Right.
It's especially like first gen Americans. It's just ingrained that you have to stay close.
Yeah.
You have to help out the family. This is like a familial, communal effort, right? And that was, I mean, I love my culture. I love what it's made me, but that's one of the limitations that I saw. It's okay. I'm just stuck. Like, everything I do is for my family, which is, it's good, right? But at a point, I just got tired of sacrificing everything and not putting myself first. So that's something that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
That was like the shift, and from there, dude, here I am. So back to the high school job. I did it out of necessity. I played sports growing up.
Oh, nice. So McDonald's was kind of like, I can imagine, an athlete like yourself working at McDonald's was a little humbling, I'm guessing, even for a high schooler. Or did you look at it like an opportunity? Like,
I saw it as an opportunity. Like, I liked it. Like, it was chill.
Awesome.
I had my own money. I had my own car. Like, I could go do the things that I wanted to do. And as I'm saying this, I'm now realizing that was my first introduction to like that belief in myself, being able to have stuff on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. Not relying on someone else. Like, you made your own money, you made your own way. And and so I guess, you go from graduating high school, and did you kind of have the thought of like, what next, or how did you transition?
So I was going to go to school. Somewhere in that summer, I saw an ad to go make a lot of money.
Oh.
And then that's how I ended up at Kirby.
Like a Facebook ad, or?
Back then, dude, I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't think Instagram was. No. Well, we had Instagram, but it was like, so, because you graduated in what year?
2010.
2010. Oh, yeah. So, shoot.
This was way before Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember.
Somehow, Kirby flashed a sign at you and said, hey, come make tons of money.
Yep.
And I'm guessing you got introduced to some kind of like sales manager
Yep.
or something. How was that experience?
The guy was old. He was cocky.
Yeah.
But I saw that he made good money. So I'm like, all right, let me try this out. I sold 3 vacuums, never got paid on them. So,
well, out of curiosity, because I've been really interested in hearing a lot of these stories where, you know, the first person you meet in sales. That's always something that really intrigues me. And so, I mean, this old cocky guy, was he somewhat like a mentor to you, or did he not spend any time whatsoever investing into you?
no time.
Yeah, so he just kind of was some guy that made okay money. You didn't look up to him in any capacity like that.
I didn't look up to him, but I saw what he had, and I was like, okay, that's achievable.
Uh-huh.
And funny story, full circle, that office that I started in, it was started by one of my now recruits. So
no way.
yeah, well,
that's awesome.
It's wild. So shout out Javier. For that.
Yeah, that's great.
He started that market with.
It wasn't his fault you didn't get
No,
paid,
it
right?
wasn't his
Okay.
fault, no, because once before I onboarded Javier, we're talking about like, his history in door to door.
Yeah.
And how he did Kirby, and he's like, oh, like I'm like, I told him I worked in the Temecula office. He's like, no way, I started that.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, I don't remember you. I remember this old white guy with a red Corvette. He's like, dude, that guy's a douche.
Oh,
he came in after me. So,
yeah.
10 years later, he's now doing solar.
Wow.
Switches from one company, and he's looking at Pure.
Mm-hmm.
Myself and Tavita and a few others, we help facilitate his onboarding to
Cool.
Pure, and it's like full circle. It's like,
Yeah.
He
That's
he opened up that office, which gave me the introduction to door to door. 10 years later, I bridged the gap and help him come over to Pure.
Wow. What a cause. That's crazy. From there, I mean, did you just go, do you see like another ad for pest control, or did you go to school?
So I went to school. My oldest sister got me a job at a body shop, a collision repair center.
Okay.
So that's where I went. I started detailing cars. I was going to school. I was saving up for my mission because at the time I was still active LDS.
Okay. Yeah.
So I worked at the body shop for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then I left on my mission.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Where'd you serve your mission?
Guatemala.
That's awesome. What a cool mission.
It was dope, dude.
Yeah.
My mission made me who I am.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So,
like on my mission, I just saw a lot. It was very, very humble circumstances.
I understand.
And it's like I thought I grew up poor, right?
Right.
You know?
Humbled you a little bit.
It was like, it humbled me a lot. So I'm like, okay, I'm in a position, I've learned these skill sets, like I can work. I can talk to anybody at this point.
Yeah.
Come home, the goal is to go back to school, become a pediatrician.
Yeah.
The whole thing, right?
So, I mean, you had these plans to, I'm going to BYU, I'm going to get married, I'm going to do med school, going to make good money through med school. I'm going to do something that I feel like is going to help people. So when did that plan change a little bit?
6 months after my mission. So a really good friend of mine, Jacob Cool, got home the same day off his mission. And he went into door-to-door sales with a super small solar company. 2 or 3 months after we got home.
Right.
And as soon as he got on, he was like, Rick, you have to come out and try this. I'm back at the body shop. I'm now in like the paint division.
Ooh.
Paid like $17 an hour, dude, working 60 hours. My overtime is there, you know. I'm going to church. Like I'm doing everything. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm good. I'm chilling. I have a plan. I'm sticking to it. And one day he just got me to come out, and I did. That first day, I got a self-gen close.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Jeez, this is in California, right?
California.
So you don't know what you're doing.
I don't know
You're just out there and you're like, hey, I know how to talk to people. I'll just give it a shot.
Yep. It was somebody from the stake. It was somebody who I knew before my mission, and they're like, yeah, we've looked into solar, like our bills are super expensive.
Wow.
And I'm basically just thrown out to the wolves, and they would just say this. I'm like, okay. And then Jacob is right behind me. He sets the appointment for me. And then 2 days later, they close.
Wow. That's crazy. And were you hooked?
Instantly. Instantly. But
wait, you got back to your car, you did the commission real fast, and then
I had no idea. I didn't know how much I got paid. The next Friday, or like the next Friday, the boss, he's like, hey, we don't have your payroll, so here's your check.
Oh.
And I got paid like half half after the deal,
Yeah.
then half after install. And I looked at it and like, it said $900. What the heck? I just made $900?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, okay. I took maybe 2 months of only working Saturdays, knocking doors, to get my confidence to be able to say, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do from now on.
Oh, okay. I love that. Yeah.
I like quit my job, and then I went into sales full time, and the solar coaster began for me at that point.
Yeah. But it's cool because you did it almost responsibly. Like, you didn't just say, quit your body job, transition straight into sales, and just, hope for the best. Yeah. You put in the work. You did trainings, I'm sure, right? And then you'd work on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So I guess like during that transition period, you were working Monday through Friday at your collision job, and then Saturday you're 1 day off. I guess Saturday and Sunday, but Saturday, the one big day off, you went and knocked doors instead of like chilling at the beach or something. Yep. That's awesome. And then you got to the point where you started doing it full time. Yep. Obviously, you transition into sales, you're doing sales, you're loving it. As we've gotten to know each other, I could tell that you're a funny guy and you have a good sense of humor. But there's a difference between being a funny guy and having a good sense of humor and starting one of the most like popular meme pages for sales out there. Kind of like you said, you're in Long Island. You did the solar sales thing. Did you end up going to college, by the way?
No, I never. I ended up enrolling for that next semester, and I never showed up.
Never showed up. Yeah, just didn't need it. So didn't do college, decided to stay in sales. And so that first summer, you're grinding, you're working really hard, and you just had an itch to start something new? Or?
Yeah. So part of my downward spiral is I was dating this girl. She ended up breaking up with me. I took that really hard, So I was like super sad boy all the time, and I coped through memes.
Oh, okay. Coping through memes. I would find something like, that's me. Like all memes are like somebody expressing a way that you feel in a way that you never considered expressing it. So you take scenes from a movie, you take scenes from something else, and you're like, that's how I feel. Exactly how I feel. Yeah.
Because as salespeople, like we're so tired mentally at the end of the day, and we're poor communicators outside of selling that it's hard for us to express how it is that we actually feel. But if you find a scene from a movie or a clip, you're like, that's exactly how I feel.
So memes are a reflection of kind of like one's thoughts and feelings.
Yep.
That's awesome. I've never thought about that before. So your meme page, I mean, is ultimately a reflection of your thoughts and feelings about our job, door to door, and life. That's fantastic.
Yep. It's just an outward expression of what I've been through via some clips that I find online or something that I create.
And you're doing something that a lot of people do is you're using humor to help, right? Help the problem. Sometimes people use humor to mask the problems. And I guess at the beginning you said that you had that breakup and you're dealing with it through memes.
Yeah.
And so I guess is that you kind of had that experience, and what led you to think that you could do it yourself?
I was already like making funny memes or like making like my own memes that I thought were funnier.
Yeah.
Right. I knew that I was funny, and everybody, I guess what it came down to is everybody's like, dude, the meme you sent me are so funny. That was so funny. That was so funny. So I'm like, okay, I know what I'm sending to people. It resonates.
Yeah.
So now it's just a matter of creating my own. And then I would look at Summer Sales Fails, the Door Knockers page, and some other pages, right?
Yeah.
I'd be like, I could probably make better. I created the page. I made sure no one knew who I was, because no one knew who the guy who ran Summer Sales Fails or the other ones. They were anonymous. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I had guys on my team that were following it.
Yeah.
He's thinking like, a lot of shit talking they did on my page initially, and I'm sitting there like,
yes,
yeah, that's me. F you, bro.
This guy's not funny. Screw this guy. Yeah. Oh man. But then when they loved it, I'm sure there's some that they loved, and that probably felt great.
Yeah.
Seeing the people that you know love what you're putting out and give you unbiased reactions. Yeah.
So yeah, I kept the page going anonymous for 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
2 years.
That's a big secret to keep for 2 years. Yeah. I mean, the first 2 years, I think you had like what, 10 to 15,000 followers, or
dude, I didn't hit 10,000 followers until 2021.
No kidding. Okay,
yeah.
So you're running the page, not too many followers. I guess just out of the pure enjoyment of making memes.
Yep.
And using it as a way to, deal with the stresses of our job.
Yeah.
Anything else kind of?
What opened up is I would share memes that were relatable because I did alarms between like solar and pest with Vivin out of California, but he was a douche. The man was such a douche. I was like, yeah, no. And I was like, I can't sell alarms. Like, this isn't for me. So I started posting memes that were specific for pests, specific for solar, and then specific for alarms. And everyone's like, how do you know all these things?
Yeah. Like the little quirks and the inside jokes and all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Which then started, I guess it started to have, it sparked the curiosity for people, and then they started asking questions. And I would screenshot the questions and answer them on my story.
Oh.
And that's what created the buzz, is the fact that I wasn't just talking about pests, I was talking about solar, I was talking about alarms.
You're relating to everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean, even the sales, you get like high ticket item sales, car sales, all this kind of stuff. Most of your memes relate with all those kinds of sales, right? Any car salesman that's dealt with, like a parent or someone showing up and blowing up the entire deal, that's relatable across all platforms, right? That's just sales 101. Okay, great. So yeah, you literally are just, you're doing it for years. And I mean, to give you an idea, I think I started following you way back. I tried looking on Instagram to see when I started following you. I don't know where it tells you and stuff, but it has to be years. I'm not kidding. I'd imagine it's as late or as early as like 2019, 2020. Because I eat up that kind of stuff too. And it's funny. Yeah, I literally didn't know who you were until last year. I just remember I saw like you put your tag in the account. I'm like, oh, cool. I always thought that it was like a group of people. Yeah. Because frankly, you're putting out a lot of content. There's, lots of videos. And so in my opinion, I was like, well, it's probably a group of people who are doing these meme accounts because they're putting out so much content. Was it just you?
It was just me.
Wow. So it was just you, and I guess just after the doors, you would crank them out. Or before the doors, you'd crank them out. Wow.
Before the doors, I would find something that I liked, screen record it, edit it super quick, and just put it into.
But you weren't making any money off of it. There was no promise of making money whatsoever. So we kind of mentioned it already, but what else kind of was the huge driving factor for it?
Dude, honestly, I think I was just too stupid and too stubborn to quit.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't know. Part of it is like at that point in my life, the feel good messages that would come in made it worth it. Yes, I wasn't making money, dude.
Yeah.
I was still broke as hell, in that span for like really long periods. I was like, okay, I'm doing something. I'm onto something. People are responding. People are sending me this. They like what I'm doing. This is going somewhere.
Yeah.
At least in my mind, that's what I sold myself on. If I lied to myself, I'm glad that I did because I kept with it.
Yeah. Well, people would message you saying, hey, thanks so much. Like that was really awesome. Yeah. So, getting that kind of a feedback. I know a couple different people, good friends of mine. Jake Lords. Do you know Jake Lords? Yeah, he's gotten a lot of awesome feedback from something that he thought was so menial. Like he does ice baths, and he like goes into a river and like dips, and he's very consistent with it, and he's killing it. And like he's getting people that are reaching out to him and saying it's very meaningful. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of the point is like, hey, you're creating something that's benefiting you and helping you out, but then in addition to that, if you can help one other person in some capacity cope with struggles of summer sales or find the humor in getting yelled at on the doors. I guess that kind of made it all worth it, huh?
Yeah, it was. For the longest time, it was literally just my public journal of what I'm going through. Like the memes that I posted were literally stuff that just happened.
Oh.
So it was like a way of me finding something. Like at first, I would make the memes to make the memes. Eventually, well, this sucks, but this would be pretty funny, and I know that other people have gone through this.
Yeah.
Let me go find a clip. I had to go find a clip, get posted. So
you experienced something on the doors that day, and you'd almost kind of like snapshot it. And, and sales were it's kind of trained for us to forget and move on, right? But a lot of people can only do that for so long.
Yeah.
Right? They can say, hey, I just got yelled at 3 doors in a row. This sucks. The next door is going to be fine. Knock to the next door, yelled at, and a dog chases them off. Yeah. Well, now their spirit's broken.
Yeah.
Right? And that's when they need something to pick up, something like that. Yep. And so I'm sure those were the kinds of moments that resonated with you the most. That do you, out of curiosity, do you think that, I don't know if you have statistics on this or anything, but do you think that your most funny or your most viewed videos were the ones that were like the most real?
Yes, a lot of them are.
No kidding.
Most of them are. Yeah. All of them are real in the sense of like, this is what I've gone through.
Yeah.
What I'm realizing is that there's trends within the industry, trends between rookies, second, third, fourth years, right? So I should take time, go through all my analytics, go through all the comments and see, okay, at this point this week, this is where all the rookies struggle. I'm going to make content for rookies this week. Because that's just where it's so repetitive. This industry is so repetitive.
You have so much content out there that it's true you could do that, and that would, I'm sure, make a great impact. But you've done so much content and so much good work over the years that it doesn't take much for someone to go through your account and find something that resonates
it doesn't.
with them.
That's the thing that really helped me stay with it, is the fact that whenever I would post something, the amount of people that would comment on it and be like, I'm going through this exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I would look, and they're selling somewhere on the East Coast. Someone else would be like, I'm going through this too. Or this just happened to me. They're in Texas. And like all these people would comment. And they're all over the country. And the thing that most people said in private via like DMs is like, hey, thank you for doing what you do. It's nice to see that the people who like your stuff and the people who are commenting are going through the exact same thing. And it makes me feel less alone when I'm going through it.
You've built this community of people who are kind of showing a realness of themselves. They're showing a real side of their struggles, because in sales, the last thing you want to do is show up to your team and, complain. It's looked down on, right? We don't want any negative people on our team. How many times have you heard that?
All the time.
Yeah, we don't want any negativity. No negative. You got something bad to say,
keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself, or talk to the manager later, and they never end up talking. And so, you created this little community of people where they can go and they can reflect and they can complain a little bit, and they can have a place where, especially in the comments, they can kind of voice it. And I feel like a lot of people in sales want an avenue. They want a place where they can kind of be more real about their experience. And here's the problem. Unless you've done door-to-door sales, it's pretty hard to relate. Right? And it's really hard to talk to somebody who's never done door-to-door sales and for them to understand what you're going through. But on the flip side of that, it's really hard to talk to someone that's on your team or a manager and be real with them and not have a negative response. And so really the only alternative is, okay, well, I'll talk to someone else who's in door-to-door that's not on my team or at my company. Well, how does that usually turn out? Oh, well, if you're not happy with where you're at, come work for me. And it turns into a recruiting spin. And you're like, dude, that's not the point. I'm not trying to be recruited by you. It's like, one, I'd love to build a real relationship. I don't feel like it's necessary for me to only build relationships with people who are at my company at that moment, right? And so that's a big struggle in our industry. It's like literally people not reaching out to other people, not being open to have relationships that aren't based off money. So, I mean, what are you... Yeah.
It's frustrating. I mean, there are people who have helped out, like, I guess the pioneer would be like Sam Taggart. Everything that he's done. It opened up the conversation, and it opened up the possibility to talk to people outside of your company and share knowledge.
That's true.
Outside your company. Right? I just followed up after him. And then I was just friends with everybody at any company. And then like my followers started making friends with people at other companies. So now it's more common thing of like, oh, I'm selling here, but I have a friend who sells with this company. Like we don't try to recruit each other. Like we're supportive. We're still homies.
Yeah, exactly.
He just wears a different color polo than I do.
Sometimes it's the same polo and the logo is almost the exact same too.
Sometimes.
And you're selling the same thing. No, and honestly, we both know Corey Clark, right? The sales therapist. Shout out Corey.
A homie, a real one.
The real one. I mean, he's bringing so much clarity and so much conversation to the industry around mental health, around breaking down walls and barriers. And that's what we need more of. Yep. And frankly, that's a huge reason why I'm starting this podcast too. Yep. I feel like a lot of people are afraid to talk about the opportunities outside of sales.
Yeah.
And so many people learn these amazing skills in sales, and they think it's the only thing that they can do with those skills is to stay in sales. When in actuality, they don't understand, hey, these skills that you've learned that you've been told are really valuable, they are very valuable, and they are valuable outside of the sales world as well. And so you've recently started a new venture.
Yep.
Right? Tell us kind of how that came about.
So it's crazy because I came on to Pure 2021 for recruiting. I recruited. I still sold, still self-gen, still sat, still closed, right? Whatever. I think from the beginning of the time I got to Pure, I've always been the guy that's just been like, what do you need me to do? Where am I needed? Yeah. Where can I help? And that's just what I've done. So it got to the point where one of the owners, Tavita, wanted to do a weekly sales recap podcast.
Oh.
He wanted to record and send out to the reps.
Yeah.
He also wanted to do a company podcast too. So we bought all the gear, everything, and then he's like, okay, come in today and we'll record it. We have a team out of California that does most of our social media management stuff. And realistically, to take a 30-minute, it was almost an hour long of footage. Yeah. Because it was the first time we've ever done it. Yeah. A lot of mistakes. There's a lot of cuts that had to happen.
Yeah.
So uploading an hour worth of 4K footage to a drive and then having the team download it, take that time to download it, edit it, and then we needed it by 8 a.m. the next day. It was impossible.
Yeah.
So I said, screw it, I'll do it. So I started doing it. That started in May. So from May till about September, October-ish, that was my introduction to media.
Okay. Just back a couple of years ago.
Last year.
Oh, last year.
Last year.
Wow. And so, did you have a knack for it? Did you have a passion for it?
So I had a knack. I guess I had the eye. I didn't have the skill set.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I know that this is what I want it to look like, but I don't know how to do it. At the time, I was still super heavy on the sales side, recruiting, developing my guys into leaders that I didn't take the time to be able to learn it as much as I needed to. But, the thing is this, you can get something, you can get really good at something really fast, but it's going to take a lot of time up front to get there.
Yeah.
Or you can take your sweet time, and because you're not designating and allocating enough time to the craft, it's going to take you even longer. It just doesn't stick.
Yeah.
Right. So it took me about 4 or 5 months to, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I got decent at it.
Yeah.
And then come November, one of the VPs, Blake Randall, he's like, hey, how much would you charge me to do my social media? I was like, dude, I don't know. I'll do it for free, dude. You're a homie.
Yeah.
and he's like, no, I want you to charge me.
Yeah.
So come up with a number and let's talk. Came up with a number, and that was my first client at the end of November going into December.
Yeah.
So Blake was my first client, and then I got Alpha to do it. Now I have the other team in Waco doing it.
Yeah.
The team in Dallas doing it. My best friend doing real estate in California. Right. I edit his content. The brokerage out of California that he works at is now looking at using me.
Yeah.
There is a club out of Harker Heights that just contracted me.
Nice.
Right. There is 2 restaurants in Waco that I'm working with. So it's like from December till now, I've picked up almost 13, 14 clients.
Yeah.
On a monthly retainer.
So, but you didn't go to school for this.
No.
You didn't, I'm trying to think of all the hate that could come. You didn't put the time into it. You didn't buy a course from some guru online. You're telling me that you can start a business and you can get success from that business from, what'd you say, YouTube Premium?
YouTube Premium. I paid $30 a month to YouTube Premium, and that's been the best investment I've ever put my money into.
So it was obviously, you yourself just putting in the time, making yourself learn it while you're doing sales.
Yeah.
Right? Did you see?
I'm still developing my leaders, and I still have my obligations to peer on the corporate side too.
Yeah. So did you see a dip in your sales or your desire to continue with those things while you were going into starting your own media company?
So I haven't, I mean, to be fair, I haven't knocked full time because I need to in over a year and a half.
That's a good thing, right? Usually people would say.
Yep. Yeah. Focusing on recruiting, just focusing on like my people making money. But it also comes with like, yeah, I do have some margin that I work with. Mm-hmm. I'd rather give up margin so I can have my guys make more so they can sell more.
Yeah.
So I sacrifice margin a lot.
Yeah.
I sacrifice it in the name of my guys getting paid more so I can just take a smaller rip off of more volume.
Yeah. And that was the responsible thing to do. You knew that you were going to be allocating your time in a lot of other places. Mm-hmm. And so taking less work from them, I'm guessing someone was able to come in and help you with the management on that side of things. Yeah. That's the responsible thing to do. You're looking out for your guys. You position yourself in a place where you could not devote as much time as you were necessarily to the things that you had. So that way you can devote a little bit more time to creating this media company. That's what it's called, right? Media company?
Yeah. Well, digital marketing agency or content creation. I don't know, dude. That's the thing.
Figuring that out, huh, later.
I'm still figuring out. Like, and it just goes to show, dude, you can start a business, not know what industry you're in.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Focus on your deliverables and just make money.
It's the funny thing is when you're in sales, it's always kind of like, hey, I know how to make money in this aspect. I'll make money in this vertical, and I'll figure out how to support it as we go.
Yep.
And I guess that's one of the lessons that you've learned from this. What in other ways, what has the sales side of things done to help you with this content creation company?
Over the last 2 or 3 years, I've learned what kind of business owner I don't want to be.
Wow.
I've seen all the shady crap that's gone on in the industry. And I knew that that's not what I wanted to do. Like, seeing these salespeople go into ownership roles pushed me so far away from considering being an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur, 100%, right? That's the thing is, I told myself, not an entrepreneur. Like, that pressure is not for me, because I would see all the crap that would happen to sales reps, operations, labor, like being laid off. Like, dude, that's people's livelihoods. And that seeing what these owners were doing, it scared me. I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to stick with who I'm with. Like, I'm just going to be a ride or die to Vita and just go wherever he goes, and just do whatever he needs me to do. But the biggest blessing is seeing people like my leaders have outside businesses, other ventures that they're in, but still show up for the people within Pure. It's a delicate balance, but you can't do the second business or branch off until you have systems, processes, and delegation set in place to be able to take time to do this.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the right people in the right places, you're never going to be able to do it.
So you saw really bad examples for so long of people just running the sales business terribly that it steered you away from wanting to do it. But I guess not until you saw someone not only run the sales business well, but also have side businesses that they're also running well. That's what gave you kind of the courage to be able to branch out and do something on your own.
Yep.
And so you had almost like a mentor coach in that aspect.
100%.
How important was your mentor coach in helping you as you're getting it started?
A lot. So even when I started at Pure, like, there are things that I've done for free because that's just who I am. And I used to say that to make myself feel good. Yeah. Now I do it for free as an exchange for knowledge that I'm learning.
You're probably doing that before. You just didn't realize it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Like, that was me justifying it and just making myself feel good about it.
Yeah.
Because if not, I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to charge them. And then that would blow opportunities for me.
Well, I mean, in hindsight, you look at the opportunity cost.
Yep.
Right.
100%.
Opportunity cost is something in our industry that I love and hate. I hate when sales managers and companies use opportunity costs as a weapon to make people feel like they shouldn't leave sales.
Yep.
That's oh man, nothing drives me more insane. Like, why would you leave and go do X, Y, and Z when you could stay here and you could make so much money? Look at the opportunity cost. Like, look what you're giving up to go do that. when in actuality, they don't understand that there's more to doing other ventures than just the money that you can make from those ventures, right?
Yeah.
We talked about one already. You're not making any money doing a meme page, but you're getting so much more because of it. Maybe people said, hey, what's the opportunity cost of you doing a meme page? You're distracted by your meme page. You're doing, you're not, it's not serving you to make money.
Yep.
When in actuality, maybe you tried to tell people this, or maybe they didn't listen. You're doing it for 1,000 other reasons that have a lot more value than the money that you could be making focusing only on the sales aspect, right?
100%. Dude, in 2021, 2022, I think this year too, I make about 30 to 40 grand a year just from the meme page.
So it has turned into something that's monetized.
It has. It's not a lot because I turn a lot of business away.
Yeah. To keep it the way you wanted to keep it.
Just affiliate ships, just like Corey, like McCarthy, Danny, all these people. It's like if I send people over to them, then they just send me some money back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like the podcast that I'm doing, having conversations with a ton of software companies and having them be like sponsors for the podcast.
Oh, right.
So it allows me to obviously build out a studio like this and do the stuff that I want to do to bring up the quality.
Yeah.
And it promotes brands, companies, softwares that I like.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And so you found a way later to turn it into something that's, making money per se. But in the moment of creating it, you weren't caring about the opportunity cost per se. Right? And so opportunity cost in the good way is, hey, listen, make a decision, get your stuff in order in sales. So that way maybe you're okay with making a little bit less money, so that way you can pursue something that brings you more fulfillment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, can you put a price tag on the company that you've made in comparison to what it's done for you? And
I can't.
I mean, can you find any other source of, and there may be people out there that can find fulfillment through sales in ways that, entrepreneurship can, but at least can you imagine any other way that you can find the kind of fulfillment you're getting through creating your own business?
No. I can't. It's insane. Absolutely insane. And I've been following people like Andy Frisella forever. And it's like, dude, he's the guy I want to be like.
Yeah.
I want to be like him. But along the way, I always ask myself, what business would I run? And I got so focused on trying to create a business and trying to force an idea. I was like, if I'm forcing this idea, how much more am I going to actually force the inputs to making this work? And if I'm not sold on it, if I'm not passionate about it, how long can I hold on by not making money?
Yeah, it's like why would, if you're not passionate about something, and that's why I think people get confused too. When people sit here and they say do something you're passionate about, and if you're one of those people that's like, I don't know what I'm passionate about, that's okay. Don't try to force it, right? And also don't try to ditch or abandon the thing that you're doing currently or who you are in search of something that's completely different. In fact, the main reason I was able to start this podcast was I'm in a men's group with Jimmy Rex, the We Are the They. Shout out, We Are the They, Jimmy Rex. But ultimately, me and him were having a conversation, and he kept saying, like, why do you try to ditch the ideal or the idea of being a salesman to become an entrepreneur? Why don't you just embrace the fact that you can be both?
Yep.
And so why would you try to ditch the fact that you are a salesman and you're a media content creator? Why wouldn't you embrace the fact that you are both? Yeah. And that's what you're doing right now, right?
Yep.
You're servicing not only your own sales companies and organizations that you care about, but you're also servicing lots of other people in their content creation. Yep. And you're doing it from a lens of understanding that most people can't comprehend.
One of the things I think I've done really well is understanding the different languages between salespeople and operations. Because I installed and I did some ops when I worked for the first company.
Oh, wow.
So I learned the language and I learned how to communicate. I can talk to salespeople. I can also I can go into any of the executive's office, talk to them. And if there's something that I hear that a sales rep then later brings up, it's like, oh, well, let me help you understand this. So I speak all the languages because of everybody who I'm around, right? Like biggest help for me, two things: being adaptable and learning how to be adaptable, right? Adapt to any situation and adapt to any social group. once you understand that, dude, everybody will like you.
Yeah.
Everybody likes having you around. You're able to not get more information. That sounds super bad, but you're given access to information that most people aren't.
Yeah. When they know you can speak the same language as them, they're more, open to the idea of sharing. It's not like they're secrets or anything, but when you can speak the same language, you'll learn so much more.
Yep. Right. And then because you're talking to the COO and he's talking about all these new procedures, about like the new racking systems and everything that's going on. And then you have a sales rep that's complaining about an install that's taking forever to get installed. And you just had a conversation with the COO about how that's the bottleneck right now and what they're doing to overcome it. Yeah. You can now have that communication with your sales rep and be like, look, dude, I get it. Here's what's going on. Let me help you understand. Because as salespeople, and this is the biggest issue, is the tunnel vision and the lack of, I guess, wide vision that leaders, sales orgs, and just people have. They just focus on what they can see. Yeah. And they don't focus about the things outside of it.
They lack the vision to see the bigger picture.
They don't see bigger picture. So
I'd say that's probably the biggest thing that handicaps or handcuffs people from sales reps. I think the biggest thing that they run into is they only know the sales and they never learn the business. Mm-hmm. It's like if anyone listening wants to become an entrepreneur, try to learn the business of your own industry first, and that's a good place to start. 100%. Like if you're in pest sales, let's say you're cold calling for software sales. Mm-hmm. Learn the business of the company that you're at. Learn the lingo. Learn how your company operates. Mm-hmm. And that's a good place to start.
100%.
And then you'll understand business more, and then you can start having an idea of what to do yourself.
It just shows selfishness and a lack of maturity. If you're just focused on your sale and it getting serviced or installed, you're just going to complain that it wasn't done in the time that you had it requested in whatever time slot you had it.
If you feel like you're the kind of salesman that you're listening to this right now and you think that you are a little one-sided, you become a better salesman when you understand the operations of your company, by the way. And you also get some sympathy because you realize how much goes into making what you're doing possible. And then if you want to know what it takes to become an entrepreneur, if you have that example, it'll give you a really good guideline of, okay, it takes a lot more than just sales to start a company. You have to have sales, but you also have to have everything that surrounds it too. Not one thing is more important than the other. Right?
I guess the biggest lesson that I learned that from sales that's transitioned into entrepreneurship is I took me working and me selling as me providing a job for everybody else. As I sell more, our operations have jobs to work on. As I sell more, our installers have jobs to show up too. As I sell more, I inspire my reps to see so they can see what's possible. If I don't show up today, somebody's not eating. Just because I have enough food doesn't mean that I'm going to stop working and keep somebody from eating. Keep somebody's kids from eating. That's the greatest lesson I've ever learned, and that's transitioned into entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not about you, it's about helping others, right? Like my teams of editors that I have right now, like as I scale, I can pay them 25 to 50% more than what they're currently earning right now, and they would take me on as a client full time. They wouldn't work for anybody else.
Wow.
And I'm 2 months away from doing that.
Yeah.
So I can give them a better life. I can give them a better opportunity, right? I can help them earn more. But I need to show up today. I need to show up tomorrow. I need to show up every day so they show up for me.
Think about how crazy your goals have changed.
Yeah.
Right? What were your goals like back when you were in sales, right? How many deals can I sell? How much can I make? How much can I make?
How much can I structure this to be able to offset some of my costs so I'm not winning on top?
And, the best salesmen, they eventually change that. And so that way it's more like, how many homes can I help today? How many families can I help today? Those are what the best salesmen and leaders do. But then you take it one step further as an entrepreneur now, where you're not even just thinking about the people that you can help. You're also thinking about the people in your own organization that you can help and scale. Mm-hmm. And that's that's ambitious. It's a lot to take on.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. But the thing is I've been through the pressure. Like, I've come out of it. My upbringing wasn't easy. Yeah, it's crazy because all my friends, this is like the craziest thing. Because to me, it doesn't make sense. And I hear it and I feel like it's supposed to hit harder than what it does. All my, like my best friend, he's like, dude, I'm proud of you. Like, where you at right now, like, anybody who was you wouldn't be where you're at. Like, people who went through what you did aren't where they at, right? You've had a hard life. I'm proud of you. My mom tells me that all the time. A lot of my really good friends tell me this all the time. And to me, I don't know what else to do. Like, I can sit here and cry about it, or I can just go work. I can go do something about it. So for me, pressure's not, I just learned to be under pressure the whole time. So maybe at the time it was a curse, but now it's the biggest blessing I've ever gotten. It's having so much pressure.
Yeah. Little do you know, by you looking to scale and grow your own company, you're also making yourself available to help even more people.
Yeah.
Other than yourself.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I was wired different. Maybe I'm too oblivious. Maybe I'm too naive. But in the moment, it's like, okay, who cares? Like, I'm still alive. Let's just keep going.
You don't have time to pat yourself on the back per se, or look in your past and look at all the mountains you've climbed. You're moving forward onto the next mountain.
Let's talk about this. Why salespeople aren't able to transition into businesses outside because of their leaders.
Right. Yeah, we're kind of talking about this before.
Yeah.
Technically, there's no barrier to entry with entrepreneurism. Yeah. Anyone could start their own company. That's kind of one of the blessings of living in America. And so the crazy thing is that why don't more salespeople who enter the sales space, right? They enter the sales space saying, I'm going to do this for a couple of years and I'm going to start my own thing. I'm going to do this for one summer. I'm going to start my own thing. Why do they get stuck in sales? Why do they feel like they can't leave? The term we like to call is the golden handcuffs, right? So what do you think are some obstacles that are prohibiting people from being able to move forward and start their own companies?
Dude, I think it's a lot of different reasons. And yesterday when on the phone, I actually sat down and thought about it. There's a few things that come to mind. One, the sales organization that they're in, they don't have the example.
Right.
I was able to do what I did because of my example. The second thing is you brought up the situation earlier where you're guilted into staying, like the opportunity cost, right?
Yeah.
There's a thing as opportunity cost, but then there's the opportunity gain. And the sales manager is like, bro, you can make all this money, right? Then you look at them and like, okay, what have you done with your money? You've been doing this for 10 years. Like, why are you still doing it?
Yeah.
Why do you need me to knock and make money? Because you make money off all my deals. So where is the money that I'm making you? Where's that going? Lifestyle, really? Just a bad lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
If it were a good lifestyle, then they would have some sort of like, dude, even if it's just like real estate investments, like some sort of investments, something, right? Yeah. If your leader is keeping you and telling you that you should stay to make more money and they don't have any form of investments, if they don't have a side business or any businesses that they're either silent investors in, dude, run. Like, go leave. Go
find an example.
Go find, either leave the industry or go find an example. Like, reach out to us, dude. We'll find somebody for you.
Yeah.
If it's not me, dude, I have plenty of friends. You got plenty of friends.
Yeah.
It's like we can link you up with anybody, right?
Yeah.
If you want the example, if you want the mentorship, we have the people.
Yes.
You just got to ask for it.
I mean, so for those who are kind of lacking a good example, right? And frankly, on social media, it's not easy to find great examples nowadays. The best advice that I can give is, work hard for a time period that you need to. Save up enough money. Do this responsibly, right? And while you're working really hard, look for outside sources of help, people who have done it. I think the biggest problem or the barrier to entry to entrepreneurism is people feeling like they can't reach out to existing entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
It's like if social media literally you can send a DM to anyone nowadays. It's if you are in a place where you kind of feel stuck and you're just doing sales but you want to start something else, just reach out.
100%.
Just do it. Reach out. Be okay with rejection. I mean, we experience rejection all the time in sales. you can experience rejection. If you reach out to 10 business owners who are in the kind of space that you think you want to do something in, and one of them responds, dude, it's a 10% return rate. And that one person that responds could be the next mentor like you had that changes your entire life. And so I think that way too many guys are hesitant. They think that they need to have a business plan. They think they need to have everything put together. When in reality, all they have to do is take action.
Yep, 100%. The biggest lesson is just action. It's shifting from, and I hate, dude, I used to say this. I used to preach this from the top of the mountains. Because I am result-oriented. The best people in sales, the best people in entrepreneurship are those who are systems and process and input oriented. That's it. You can focus, you can control what you can control and leave it at that. Don't worry about the things you can't control, right? And like one of my, I guess now trademark quotes is, you can't get mad about the things you can't control when you're not controlling the things that you can't control. You can't get mad over your installs not going through. You can't get mad about your reps leaving you. You can't get mad about, your clients, not buying, right? When you're not putting in the work to generate business.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think honestly, there's red flags in our industry for the managers that you have, guys. If your manager isn't supporting you in some way in the ambitious dreams or thoughts that you have that are outside of sales, that's a manager that's practicing out of scarcity. You never want to be with somebody like that. Me and Corey actually talked about that a bunch on our episode.
Corey and I have talked about that a ton.
Yeah, because he hears firsthand from reps from their mouth, their thoughts and feelings. And frankly, if you are a manager listening to this podcast, care enough about your people to not act from a place of scarcity, care enough about your people to encourage them and maybe even show them a path to how they can achieve some sort of success outside of this job. Because for all intents and purposes, sales will always be here. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can always go knock on a door. You can always cold call somebody. It's an amazing skill to have, but that's what it really should be. It's a skill that you have that helps you when you need it. And it should be able to help you do other things that you want to do.
Can I take it one step further? And I think the very common skill that we hear so much is the ability to talk to people. And the ability to generate business. I think the biggest skill set that's going to translate is how well you stick to systems and processes. Because that's really it. There's so much uncertainty in business. There's so much uncertainty in entrepreneurship. Like, dude, I just learned the hard way about taking clients on a net 30 and net 60. It's like, crap, I just paid. Like, I have to pay my videographers like $4,000, but I don't get paid for 30 days. It's like, okay, cool. Luckily, I have some money saved up. Luckily, I have overheads coming in. But I thought about it. I was like, what if I didn't have this? I would be so screwed. And I would be in the position like other businesses, like other sales companies that haven't been able to pay the reps out because of money issues, cash flow problems. I created my own cash flow problem.
And it wasn't a problem of you not being able to make enough sales either. It's the operations weren't in place. And so that's the one kind of caveat is like, you've been able to make a lot of sales, but you also put in a lot of time into creating operations and creating systems, so that way your sales weren't going to nothing, right? You're able to pay your people. So I'd say, if you're looking to start something, yes, sales is incredibly important, but if you don't know the business of business, if you don't know accounting, if you don't know how to create systems, then you're going to run into the same problem that we hear all the time. A sales company, for example, starts. It does fantastic. They got amazing swag. They recruit the top tier guys. They put on an insane book of business and no one gets paid. It's because our industry needs more people that will step up as businessmen for the sake of being businessmen, and not for the sake of making more money and sticking to their salesman attributes.
Exactly. When everything is focused on the money, everything is going to fail. But if you focus on what I have to do right now and what I have to do in an hour, and you stick to the things you say you're going to do, and you keep the promises you made to yourself, everything is going to work out. It's just a fact. So for those of you who have like leaders, like dude, I would challenge people, be like, okay, if you have a problem, if you're going to complain, this is what I have all my guys do. Mm-hmm. It's, okay, I will hear you. If you have something you want to complain, something you want to vent about, bring it to me. But as soon as you're done venting, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. And the first option, the first solution, better come out right after. Come to me with problems, but come to me with solutions. And let's talk about the solutions that you were able to come up with. And let's run with one of the however many you have, or let's build one out of what you have.
Yeah. Because what is an entrepreneur? It's a problem solver.
Problem solver.
That's literally the whole point.
That's it.
And the best salesmen are problem solvers.
The best salesmen are problem solvers.
So if you don't feel like you're a good problem solver right now and you want to be an entrepreneur, and just figure out how to solve problems, and that'll help you in your sales, and it'll help you become a better entrepreneur.
And it'll help you as a rep temperature check your leader to see how good of a leader he is. We talked about earlier. Yeah. If you have a problem, keep it to yourself. Okay, you have a problem, take it to your leader and take them some options on what you think would be the best course of action moving forward.
Yeah.
If they still don't want to hear you after the fact, Corey says they're just bad leaders and they're not there. They're not at a mature leadership level to be able to help you resolve your problems.
Yeah.
So if you come to him with a really small problem, think about what's going to happen when you come to him with a really big problem.
Yep.
He's not going to be able to help or facilitate anything for you. So there you go. Leave.
Yep. Look, find somebody else. Yep.
Look for a way out. I'm telling you right now, if you do this, you will know how good of a leader your leader is.
Yeah.
Your leader is.
Yeah.
Right.
Not every sales rep is a leader. Not every leader is a great businessman. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line. And so if you strive to become a businessman and if you strive to become a leader, you typically are only like one decision, one choice away from becoming a leader yourself, no matter what your experience level is.
100%. It's crazy. So, this is fun.
Yeah, that was awesome. It's pretty rare. Again, like the whole idea of this is just to have open conversations about, listen, there's just so much more. There's so much more to this. And it's so fun to see. I feel like a lot of the old dogs who have left the big company and who have been starting their own brands and stuff, I've just been paving a way. And I think that we're going to see a flood of amazing companies and amazing businesses being started by salespeople who learned the lessons from the right people and took action.
Yep. And I'm excited for the old dogs to make their comeback because their non-compete's about to run out. Their non-compete is about to be over.
We're going to be happy to have them back.
Yes, please.
Yes. Yeah, everyone who's been in the game for a little bit knows who we're talking about.
I'm talking to you, Mr. Man in the Mansion in Puerto Rico. It's time for you to come out.
Well, honestly, I think we've talked about some amazing lessons that you've learned already, and I'm so excited to see where your company takes you and all the people that you can help. Thank you so much for being on, man. I really appreciate it. And this is the Sales Entrepreneur signing out.